I'm at North Olmsted, Ohio, Giant Eagle. Someone just stabbed a kid and a lady in the parking lot.
Screams in the parking lot as we were parking or walking to our car, and we saw the kid.
911, what is your emergency?
There's a child. He's bleeding all over the place. We're at North Olmsted, Giant Eagle. I don't know what happened to him.
Okay, what exactly is going on?
There's a kid. He's bleeding all over the place. We're at Giant Eagle. He's outside. We're in the parking lot right now.
I believe so, yeah.
Get that off. Good. Okay, good. All right. Is there a halo chest on it? Okay. Is there anything else on the face?
Anybody have
All right. Trauma naked. Good.
Copy. I will be up.
You got a med kit?
Yeah. You want her on the side? You're good. Who's got a med kit?
You're good, bro.
We have a female in custody.
Are you bleeding? Are you hurt anywhere? Yeah, hold you up, okay? Grab your other arm. We're going to lift you up, okay?
Stand up, okay?
1, 2, 3, stand up. Stand up. Come on.
Turn around.
692604, Bionca Ellis.
Bionca Ellis, facing murder and attempted murder charges, was arraigned this morning. The first 2 attempts, she seemed defiant, head down.
Have you received and read your indictment?
I don't know.
You don't know if you've received it?
Not answering Judge Nancy Russo's yes or no questions.
Do you understand on the indictment that the state has reserved the right to add the death penalty? Do you understand that? Have you read that?
ASAP.
What's ASAP?
Bionca Ellis.
Ellis was then walked into the courtroom where she used a whispering voice.
Hello, Miss Ellis. Do you have an attorney? You do? Do you have the money or means to hire an attorney? Have you received your indictment? Okay, well, we can read it in open court. The defendant did cause the death of J.W., date of birth 10/29/2020.
While charges were being read, Ellis smirked, shrugged, raised her eyebrow, and even smiled.
Do you wish to enter a plea of not guilty?
C.
Pardon me?
C.
What's same mean? Yes or no?
Yes.
A mother should never have to bury their child. A mother is supposed to go first, not her children. A mother shouldn't receive her child's death certificate at 3 years old, and his cause of death is by homicide.
That day, 1 week ago, she took everything from us. There's nothing that could ever replace my son, or anything that my wife and I, even our other kids, are going through.
No amount of training can prepare a police officer for the loss of a child. This case has left a lasting emotional impact on everyone who responded that day. The officers who found Julian Wood will never forget what they saw, the innocence that was taken, and the silence that followed.
Do whatever you can to keep this monster behind bars. And I really wish no bail, period. Or extend it to the max limit possible that you can.
We spoke to the mother of Bionca Ellis.
What do you think actually happened at that moment last week in this case?
I think she was hallucinating. Bionca has been on several medications that did not work out for her. The hallucinations and the voices just got the best of her. My condolences to this family. When I found this out, I was so devastated because no child should lose their life. She was around my grandchildren. It could have been one of my grandkids.
June 3rd, 2024, 3 p.m., a Monday afternoon in North Olmsted, Ohio. A mother loads groceries into her car. Her 3-year-old son sits in the shopping cart, probably asking for a snack, probably swinging his legs. Normal, safe, mundane. 30 seconds later, that little boy is dying in a parking lot, and the woman who killed him is walking away smiling, not running, not panicking, smiling, like she just finished her shopping, like she didn't just stab a 3-year-old to death in front of his mother, like she didn't just destroy an entire family for absolutely no reason. This is the Bionca Ellis case, and what happened in that courtroom will make your blood run cold.
Miss Ellis was inside the Volunteers of America store where she obtained a butcher knife or some type of kitchen knife. Unknown at this point if she paid for that knife or if she stole it, but then she was then seen exiting Volunteers of America, walked over to Giant Eagle where she was on their cameras, spotted Mrs. Wood and her son, and then proceeded to follow them out to the parking lot. And somewhere near their vehicle, Miss Ellis then attacked the two of them.
Let me show you how this nightmare unfolded. It's 2:40 p.m. Bionca Ellis walks into a thrift store, digs through a donation bin, pulls out 2 knives, walks out without paying. Security cameras catch everything. She's outside tapping the knives on a pillar, testing them, feeling the weight. Then she walks to Giant Eagle, stands in the foyer for a full minute holding a chef's knife in plain sight. Nobody stops her. And then she sees them, Margot Wood, 38 years old, and her son Julian in the shopping cart. She starts following them, through the aisles, to the checkout, into the parking lot. She's not shopping, she's hunting. 3:01 p.m. Margot opens her trunk and starts loading groceries. Julian's still in the cart. What happens next takes 5 seconds. 5 seconds that destroyed a family forever. Ellis runs at them, knife raised. Margot doesn't see her coming. The first stab hits Julian in the face so hard it severs his tongue. Margot screams and grabs her son. The second stab goes into Julian's back, 4 inches deep, straight into his lung. Margot gets stabbed in the shoulder trying to shield her baby. But it's too late. The damage is done. And Bionca Ellis just walks away. Calm. Collected. The police station is across the street. Officers arrive within minutes. It doesn't matter. The wounds are too severe.
Squad's pulling up now. Squad's pulling up now.
Get these off?
So, yeah.
Get that off. Good. Okay. Good. All right. Is there a halo chest on it? Okay. Is there anything else on the face?
Anybody outside?
All right. Maybe dominate.
Let's go. Yes, all Westlake guys.
Let me know when you're ready.
Ready?
Let me know when you're ready.
Let's get him on the car.
Okay, let me know when you're ready. Here we go. All right, you ready? Ready? Ready, 3? Somebody get a beat, 2. Ready? Get this out, buddy, up. Go. Go. Good.
We're gonna get our pads on.
Okay.
Medic, come in here and relieve him.
Yeah, from there.
Medic, come in and relieve him of his chest compression.
You gotta take it back.
You got this. Get him on out. Go take her to a car right now. Hey, somebody go get mom. She doesn't need to see this. Ready? There you go.
In there, buddy.
Where are you sitting? Hey, we need a second.
I will be up.
You got a med kit?
Yeah. The one on the side? You're good. Who's got a med kit?
We gotta get her
We have a female in custody.
Are you bleeding? Are you hurt anywhere? Hold you up, okay? Grab your other arm.
11, do you have someone there with you?
We're going to lift you up, okay?
Stand up, okay?
1, 2, 3, stand up. Stand up. Come on.
En route. 14.
Julian Wood dies that day, 3 years old, killed by a complete stranger for absolutely no reason. Let me tell you who Julian Wood was. His family called him Juju, loved dinosaurs, obsessed with the color green, had an older brother he wrestled with, a new baby sister he adored, just a kid living his life. On June 8th, his funeral procession went through North Olmsted. The family asked the community to line the streets wearing green and holding dinosaur toys. Thousands showed up. The streets flooded with green balloons, people in dinosaur costumes, signs that said Juju. A GoFundMe raised $278,000 from over 6,600 strangers who wanted to help. But no amount of money brings Julian back. No amount of support erases what Margot saw that day, the weight of her son in her arms as his life slipped away. This is what Bionca Ellis destroyed. Not just a life, a family, a community, an entire future that will never exist. And when she heard about it in court, when they described Julian's injuries and his mother's grief, she smiled.
As a proximate result of the offender committing or attempting to commit an offense of violence that is a felony of the first or second degree, to wit felonious assault, Ohio Revised Code Section 2903.11A1, and or endangering children in violation of Ohio Revised Code Section 2919.22B2. Count 4 alleges that on or about June 3, 2024, the defendant did knowingly cause serious physical harm to J.W. on date of birth 10/29/2020. Count 5 alleges that on or about June 3, 2024, the defendant did torture or cruelly abuse J.W., date of birth 10/29/2020, a child under 18 years of age, and furthermore, the violation resulted in serious physical harm to J.W.
So who is Bionca Ellis? Born January 15, 1995, diagnosed with schizophrenia around 2012. By 2017, she's on Social Security disability because her mental illness is so severe she can't function. From 2015 to 2024, she was hospitalized for psychiatric issues 13 times. When she took her medication, she was fine, coherent, functional, but she kept stopping. She'd get released, stop taking her meds, spiral into psychosis, get hospitalized again, a cycle that repeated for years. Her delusions were severe. She believed she had 23 children. She thought Albert Einstein was conspiring against her. She heard commanding voices. According to her own testimony, on June 3rd, those voices told her, "Someone has to die. They need to be killed. You could either kill them or kill yourself. You know what you came here to do. Go ahead and do it." 3 days before the attack, she was released from jail for shoplifting. She had no money, no place to stay. The morning of the attack, she went to the police department asking about properties she thought they owed her. When they told her they had nothing, surveillance shows her getting angry, agitated. Hours later, she steals knives from a thrift store, enters Giant Eagle, spots Margot and Julian, and makes a choice.
Hello, Ms. Ellis. Do you have an attorney? You do? Do you have the money or means to hire an attorney? Have you received your indictment? Okay. Have you read it? You have not read it. Okay. We have a copy here. You can read it. You don't want to read it. Are you willing to accept that the public defender has read it to you? I'm sorry. You asked her not to. Well, but she did read it to you, correct? She didn't read it to you. Okay, well, we can read it in open court. The defendant did cause the death of J.W., date of birth 10/29/2020, as a proximate result of the offender committing or attempting to commit an offense of violence that is a felony of the first or second degree, to wit, felonious assault, Ohio Revised Code Section 2903.11A1, and or endangering children in violation of Ohio Revised Code Section 2919.22B2. Count 4 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, the defendant did knowingly cause serious physical harm to J.W. on date of birth 10/29/2020. Count 5 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, the defendant did torture or cruelly abuse J.W., date of birth 10/29/2020, a child under 18 years of age, and furthermore, the violation resulted in serious physical harm to J.W., date of birth 10/29/2020. Count 6 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, the defendant did attempt to purposely cause the death of Margot Wood. Count 7 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, the defendant did attempt to cause the death of Margot Wood as a proximate result of the offender committing or attempting to commit an offense of violence that is a felony of the first or second degree, to wit, felonious assault, Ohio Revised Code Section 2901.11A1. Count 8 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, the defendant did knowingly cause serious physical harm to Margot Wood. Count 9 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, the defendant did, knowing that an official proceeding or investigation was in progress or was about to be or likely to be instituted, alter, destroy, conceal, or remove any record, document, or thing with the purpose to impair its value or availability as evidence in such proceeding or investigation. Count 10 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, the defendant did with purpose to deprive the owner, Volunteers of America store, of property or services, to wit, knives, knowingly obtain or exert control over either the property or services without the consent of the owner or the person authorized to give consent. I have now read the indictment to you. Do you wish to enter a plea of not guilty?
C.
Pardon me?
C.
What's same mean? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. I understand the victims are represented and they want to make a comment before I set bond. Is that true?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
June 10th, 2024, Bionca Ellis's first court appearance. The judge reads the charges. aggravated murder, attempted murder, potential death penalty. Most defendants are terrified, crying, desperate. Bionca Ellis is smiling. Not a nervous smile, a genuine, sustained smile, smirking. At one point, she giggles. She's laughing during discussions about murdering a 3-year-old child. The hearing gets delayed multiple times because she won't stop laughing. The media captures it all. The internet explodes. But her defense team saw something different. A woman so mentally ill, she couldn't comprehend the gravity of her situation. Within months, she's ruled incompetent to stand trial. A psychiatrist finds her incredibly mentally ill, disorganized, and illogical. So they send her to psychiatric treatment. 5 months of medication, antipsychotics. By February 2025, she's deemed competent. The medication worked. But the medicated Bionca Ellis is a completely different person. When she returns to court in October 2025, the smiling, laughing woman is gone. In her place, someone who looks empty, detached, broken. Throughout the entire trial, she's disengaged. Head down, face blank, no reaction to anything.
Now, we're going to go through the timeline. We have the benefit of really having all of these actions captured on video. So we know that in a couple days prior to June 3rd, Bionca Ellis had a run-in with the North Olmsted Police Department. And that's important because it's part of the anger that fuels her on June 3rd. So at 2:36, you see her in that yellow circle. She's in her wheelchair. She's on the North Olmsted Police Department property. A couple minutes later, here she comes into the lobby, and you meet Danielle Shook, one of the first witnesses you heard in this trial. And if you remember how their encounter went, Bionca Ellis wasn't so happy when she left the lobby. And then she kind of skips down the stairs. She ditches her wheelchair and her suitcase. And you can look at the video. Again, of course, you heard testimony that she walked with purpose and that she was angry. The careful selection of the weapons, minute by minute here. 14:55, so 2:55, less than 20 minutes after she went to the police station, she's got her weapon. 14:56, she's going to enter the things outlet. She walks in, looks around. Pay attention. She's got 2 knives still behind her back, and she's looking around. Ladies and gentlemen, she's looking for a victim. She exits. What does she do then? Well, she's got 2 knives. She can't use 2 knives. So she's got to ditch one. She's got to keep the best one. What does she do? She taps her knives against the brick column, ditches the flimsy one, keeps the superior knife to carry out her act. Look at her walk. She's not going into that store for anything but to wreak havoc on somebody that she hasn't chosen yet. 2:57, there she is, knife in hand. Again, this is 22 minutes have passed since she went to North Olmsted for her money, and here it is. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the decision she makes after she's selected her weapon. These are the people she wants to harm. And finally, at 3 o'clock, we know what happens.
The prosecution shows surveillance footage. The jury watches a 3-year-old boy get stabbed to death. Margot Woods takes the stand and describes the worst moment of her life.
A mother shouldn't receive her child's death certificate at 3 years old, and his cause of death is by homicide. That woman murdering my son replays in my head every single day. It is my living nightmare. The last thing I will ever hear from my son is his scream, the sound of his pain and fear before he was gone. And I can still see the terror in his eyes and it haunts me every day. He was my baby boy, and the day he died, a part of me died with him.
The courtroom is devastated. Bionca Ellis stares blankly. The medical examiner describes Julian's injuries in graphic detail. Zero reaction. Expert witnesses battle it out. The defense says she was legally insane, couldn't distinguish right from wrong. The prosecution says her actions show planning and awareness. She methodically selected weapons, followed her victims. That's not insanity. That's murder. During all of this, Bionca Ellis sits there unchanged. Her attorney asks the jury to look at her, see how she's sitting. This is mental illness. The prosecution counters, don't be fooled, she knew what she was doing. October 15th, 2025. After 8 hours, the jury reaches a verdict. Guilty. All charges. Aggravated murder, murder, attempted murder, felonious assault, endangering children, theft. Julian's family is crying. Relief, grief, vindication. Bionca Ellis shows no reaction. Her face doesn't change. She doesn't blink. Even at this moment when the jury tells her she's guilty of murdering the child, when she faces life in prison, she shows nothing. Complete emotional absence. She'll be sentenced to life in prison. She'll die behind bars. Her defense attorneys say the jury possibly got it wrong, that her schizophrenia should have absolved her. The prosecution says justice was served, that mental illness doesn't excuse murder. Margot Woods stood outside the courthouse and said this was for him today, for Julian, but it doesn't bring him back. It doesn't erase what she saw. It doesn't heal the trauma.
I just want to say I apologize. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right, you can be seated. Thank you.
With respect to my sentencing, after taking in consideration all the matters before the court that are appropriate under the principles and purposes of sentencing, the court's going to impose the following sentence. Starting with count 2, as found guilty on count 2 of murder, it's a life with parole eligibility at 15 years. On count 3, the murder charge under the B section, it's life with parole eligibility at 15 years. Those are the maximum sentences that can be handed down on those 2 counts. On count 4, with respect to the Reagan-Toke sentencing guidelines, count 4 and count 8 are both felonies of the 2nd-degree felonious assault. We also speak to count 5, which was the endangering children as a felony of the 2nd degree. And then we speak to count 7 and 6. The state and I have agreed that I will move forward with count 7. Under count 7, under the Reagan-Toke sentencing guidelines on the attempted murder in count 7, the court's going to hand down the maximum sentence of 11 years as the minimum sentence to the indefinite sentence of 16 and a half years. Again, I've outlined the Reagan-Toke guidelines and the reporting requirements for post-release control that will be controlling on all other felonies of the 2nd and 1st degree, this being the highest level. I've outlined the 5 provisions, as I noted for the record already. And then with respect to the count 4 and 8, the maximum sentence is 8 years. I'll hand down that sentence. Count 5, 8 years. Count 6, 11 years. Count 8, 8 years. And then as indicted, count 10, which would be a 6-month sentence on the misdemeanor charge. Regarding aggravated murder and finding the defendant guilty of aggravated murder by this jury, the court's going to hand down a sentence of life without parole. I'll run every other sentence concurrent to life without parole. Ms. Ellis, you'll be given credit to 509 days of the time that you've served. I'll order you in the custody of the sheriff to transport you to Marysville Correctional Facility. I'll also indicate that fines, fees, and court costs will be waived with respect to this sentence. In addition to the verdict that has been handed down by this jury and the sentence that the court handed down, Ms. Ellis, you have a right to appeal both the sentence and the conviction in this case. You can do that by filing a notice of appeal with the clerk of courts within 30 days of this sentence. If you're unable to pay for the cost of an appeal, you have the right to appeal without payment of costs. If you're unable to obtain counsel for an appeal, I'll appoint counsel to represent you. If you're unable to pay the cost of documents necessary, they are provided to you without cost. You have a right to a notice of appeal filed timely on your behalf. And Ms. Ellis or counsel, do you wish to appeal both the sentence and the conviction handed down in this case?
Yes, Your Honor. No objection for the record and appoint counsel for the appeal.
I'll note your objection regarding my sentence, and knowing that she's unable to afford counsel, I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent her with respect to her appeal. Again, noting for the record, all counts will be run concurrent to each other, with the life without parole being count one sentence. I'll waive all fines, fees, and court costs, give her credit for the 509 days that she served, in addition to time while she awaits her transportation to Marysville Correctional Facility for Women. Is there anything further from the state of Ohio before we recess?
No, Your Honor.
Anything on behalf of Ms. Ellis?
No, Your Honor.
All right, we adjourn. Thank you.
Yeah.
June 3rd, 2024, started as a normal day. Grocery shopping, a mother and her son. By 3:01 p.m., Julian Wood was dying. By nightfall, he was gone. Random, senseless, preventable. A little boy who loved dinosaurs and the color green will never grow up, never start kindergarten, never ride a bike, never become whoever he was supposed to become. Because on June 3rd, a broken woman with a knife decided he had to die. And nothing, no verdict, no sentence, no explanation will ever make that okay. This is the Bionca Ellis case, a reminder that sometimes evil doesn't roar. Sometimes it just smiles.
I think justice was served in this case, folks. I think mental illness is a real issue in our community, and I think the judge brought that to light. But I also believe that good people that come down here and do jury service and care about their community spoke loud and clear in this case. We have never disputed that Miss Ellis had a mental illness. There was never a dispute to that. The dispute was, did she appreciate the wrongfulness of her actions? The jury saw through all that. You folks were here with us. You listened to the testimony of the doctors. If we can't rely on doctors, who can we rely on in making our case? So the kudos really are not for us or the prosecutor's office. The kudos are for the doctors that spend painstaking time meeting with these folks and making their decisions. So thank you to the community, and thank you, you folks.